japsu Dage jinso jebe sonam je dola benje sanje dombaraje Sanje jeda zoje sonam la janjo bardo dane japsu Dage jinso jebe sonam je dola benje sanje dombaraje. From now on till enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now on till enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
지바랑게 던졌다 통화중이 던졌던 민인기는 개발돼 있어서 어다 된 가수가나 오늘 다 지 가자모 하기 크로알레 진조르기 대시에 연결하라 말한서 크로아 진제데 란진지 란진지 왕기 녀모사 이 왕기다 지바스 로게 충충 니 부스도 없고 니다마서나 선물 부스도 없고 오다 디기라 지바스 로게 충충 통계 충충인데 그래 지바스 디 애니베 크로아 포제데 란진지 왕기 크로아 거르데스 아니 투원 좀 됐는데 젠단 파시 제니 아니베 지 미니비 양들은 거 이것들이지 와다 텐디 디가라 지 젠된 주비 파인다 아란 진진 님이 디니 개발도 공기다 지 미니비 양들은 것들이지 아니베 코랄 칭제를 파친 말이 아니 젠 진진다 아란 진진이 견다 파인이 또 시기 없겠지 뭔가
Shantideva mentioned this verse saying that what else is there more to say? Just look at the differences between a childish who are always engaged in self-cherishing activity and enlightened being who are always engaged in the practice of benefiting others. So Shantideva is coming up here with kind of conclusion saying that, as he mentioned here, what else there is more to say? Just look at the differences between these two. And these differences between these two comes out from, one, a childish, ordinary human being, short-sighted, sort of close-minded, is very much the result of the self-cherishing thought. And because of the self-cherishing thought, this childish remains in the cycle of cyclic existence. So self-cherishing thought becomes a kind of one that tie them to the cyclic existence. On the other hand, enlightened beings, because of always engage in the benefiting others, they become liberated. So therefore, differences between these two thoughts, self-cherishing thought and other cherishing thoughts, we can know from this kind of this comparison.
양양도 배쳤다. 아니 지 라나 진진라네 에두지다. 젠진진 마케가 깨와지. 깨와 냠밤에 봐. 근데 숨지. 무스제베이나 로레야 겟텐텐 로야요.
And with the understanding of what Shantidev mentioned here, for us it is also kind of beneficial, by knowing the differences between self-cherishing thought and other cherishing thought, and then engaging more in the practice of benefiting others, and especially if we care or love ourselves, then this is a proper practice, for to proper practice to generate other cherishing thought for benefiting others, and then further kind of preserving that thought. On the other hand, understanding and realizing the fallacies of self-cherishing thought, or ego mind. Simply making wishes and prayers, we won't be able to kind of decrease or eliminate this kind of thought within us. And so what is important here is that kind of understanding and thinking more about the negative impacts of this self-cherishing thought or ego mind. And so for that reason, we also find in the same text that we are studying, a 7-point mind training, it says blame everything into one, which basically one here refers to self-cherishing thought, this egocentric mind. And we also find the same mention in the Guru Puja text, that a self-cherishing or egocentric mind is the origin or the source of all degenerations. So the more we see in the fallacies and the problems of the self-cherishing thought, the more there is chances to grow and to give attention to other cherishing thought. So the point here is that we need to understand false as a false, and therefore if we know false as a false, then we will kind of give more interest and try to engage in the opposite, which is the positive side of this self-cherishing thought.
닌신의 라바르지 근데 이바 라바르지 이니마 센트라게 나면서도 에 문바 오마레 문바 오마 본디디 차대요 델리 상한을 차라리 개발 몽고치니가 경험을 송고도 와 어떻게 이제가 나도 로정체 민스 딱가서 뒤쪽에 나야면서 제야요래다 인디가라 뭐니 셈 차라리 남에디 시바이나 딱 치디기 자마레 난게 셈디디기데 니메기디기 디기나네 투사들이 이제 경험을 숨으로 어떻게 인디가라 마존 지게 민 남자네 인정인지 시다시다 제 드려 요마데 이나 경험을 봐 송화데 소시 아주 투바데 도스네 렌데진 주고 아마도 아니 소시 지 기다이 누구예요 마 어다 도스네 아주 로정리데 뭐 요야 돼 가사지 인자 데레네 배 개발만 보인 대체 뭐 못잖네 아니 이제 세대야 왜 개발 수수이 남제도 다 말하지니 아니 에 이제 말하마라 용과에 비전 에투고 어다 인디가라 즉 로정 된님인 데와 빼만 보래 대나네 된 맞아 로정 된님인 있는 데와 제가 로정 님이 어선 지인데 따디 하기 라자 년이도 차 어다 담시 저게나 따디기는 막에 뭐 투야래 또 세디가라 또 가지 로정 세디가라 가서 툭툭지 미드에 쳐들라 견도다네 그래서 배때가 너무 많던데야 이 주용도가 미드 쳐는 주나 아치 지금 말 삼삼 이거는 주나 주바 가지라 예바도 충분해 어다 이 가진 조진 주이나 예바 채요 어때 이게 개발시 거래 주나 때가 주고 답시 그래서 주나 셈나 껴나도 제가 그네 주이나 어다 양 돼요 그래서 가르잖아 예 로 컴페 원게 예 퇴가 되는 데라 도야 백하고 로 컴페 너무 슈치 어다 때리기 인디기 자니 어다 때인디가라 방법 주디가라 지 견디 제거 거는 주야 견통 원이 주야 이니 갈래 타세야 이로 니도는 미도 숨도 경거롱지 따디 뭐네디 말한주 갈체 담에 숨 쓰디가라 딱 지겨wan 유니까지 시걸 마도 뒤뒤수 투누까지 말와 어다 두시디가라 갈체 담에 숨도 쳐사고 상기 이게발라 레라버지 땐자와니는 말이야 어다 띠인디가라 디 레라보 미오에 짜 맞아 덴질로 콤바 슈쳐봐 란진질로 콤바 슈쳐에 이거 또 까와 인자 어다 갈체 담에 숨도 쳐사니 아니 인지바자니 아니 상게 같이 시고
one of the unique feature of Buddhism comes from this very fundamental point that afflictions or defilements are something which is the which is the root of a problem, this root of suffering. And so in Buddhism, as you know, the afflictions or defilements are the true kind of enemy, the true origin of all of our suffering. And that understanding or statement is very unique in Buddhism. So therefore, beginning from the very foundational teachings of Four Noble Truths, and then going up all to the highest, Yoga Tantra teaching, we basically find understanding and learning about different stages or different nature of the afflictions in the Four Noble Truth. It starts from very general and gross understanding about you can say our own thought and psychology, and it begins with kind of gross and more general, like higher and lower text of or system of higher teachings or abhidharma, and then it becomes most subtlest in the highest teachings of yoga and Vajrayana teachings. So in the mind training practice, it is really kind of helpful to understand different different classifications of our own thoughts, subtle and gross, and because this understanding would be immensely kind of beneficial in bringing about bringing about true happiness of our own mind, and so this is what His Holiness kind of advised, and here Geshe-la is saying that although lacking his own kind of intelligence and wisdom, he won't be able to teach everything, but he's trying his best to kind of inform what he studied or learned from His Holiness teachings. And mind training itself is considered as something in Buddhist practice, something difficult, important. Therefore, we find different commentaries by different scholars and practitioners, and different commentary based on different experiences of different scholars and practitioners, and therefore several different commentaries. And the one that we are studying is mind training like the rays of the sun, and we finish a section on the 22 kind of instructional advices, and now we will be starting from 18 instruction. 18 commitments of the mind training practitioners. And in kind of essence, in mind training, what is important is trying our best to abstain as much as we can from engaging in negative activities or non-virtuous activities or sinful activities. And even if you need to engaging with some sort of feeling of regret, feeling of maybe guilty, that I shouldn't be doing it, but somehow, I need to do it. That kind of thought is helpful, because just hearing in a teaching and then immediately engage in the practice of abstaining is not easy for us, for beginners. And so to begin with, it is important to kind of, as we mentioned earlier, understanding fallacies and negativities of the these negative activities, and then first start with kind of thought level, and reminding yourself that this is not something I should be doing, and then even when you have to do it, you do it with some feeling of regret, remorse, and then you can make that stronger, and then eventually, at best, if you can, then try abstain completely. And this process is extremely kind of slow, and it takes a very long time. And we talk about in Buddhist practice, as you know, generations from generations, and rebirth, and in accumulations of positive merits, we talk about 3 countless eons. So we are talking about extremely kind of long, time. And one of the reasons here is that we are challenging this truth-grasping thought and self-cherishing thought, which we are so much familiar, so much used to it. So staying away or going away, or separating from these two thoughts will take, a long time. and it will be a long processes. Although we say three countless eons, but when we look at the Buddhist path and stages, there is a calculation how we kind of look at these three countless eons. So first countless eons is kind of a timing or stages of when we look at the five path of accumulation and path of preparation, and these two paths is sort of equal to first countless eons in terms of stages of duration, and second countless eons can match or refer to what we call seven impure ground or bhumi. When you look at 10 bhumi, first 7 bhumi or ground are considered as impure, and that refers to until one starts purifications of cognitive obscuration, and before that one is engaged in purifications of delusive cognition, delusive obscuration. And then third countless eons refers to what we call three pure ground. That refers to from 10 ground 8, 9 and 10. And from 8, 9 and 10 practitioners engage in the purifications of cognitive obscurations. So if you have some understanding of kind of layout of the stages or the processes, it will give you some idea or sense that it is a process that is kind of there's a continuation, and one will get a good picture that when and how all of this will be done or finished.
디요라 파조티 렌두기 견 마도나 자모토마니 타세레 리라고지 텐사와니 말 보다 디니콜라 가지 디고고 이고고에 사례 가지 나저 탐지 집이 자서 가지 다음에 봐 똥바니기 애니페 뇌루토고 보니 애니 다이냐는 제 다시 되시고 간지 최단지기 동반이 떠보고 동반이 가신 제치성도 좋아차니 아니 이 대람다 전투마 대람 제외차니 아니 냐는 제 대치 계속해도 계속와 계속해 제페 내강서 저는 소장 나저 탐제는 님 바지 진데 줄라 멘텐 자오 세워다 문에 때리다 많다 거기 딘데 den동 주마대 타부지 삼당 투나 미스베 야보다 이 야초데 나라라지메 봐 발사무스 죽은 규모 시베로 세네 로정 시게면 죽은 주도 도와 보다 죽은 규모 시베로 세가 den동 주마다고 가지 냠자가나 똥이 떠들거라 추려 추자가나 진데 냠자 남파도 비동반이 있대 때라 고조베 나와는 거래 집 렌두고 나와는 거래 니 유일생기 나와는 거래 냠자 갔더라 나 탐지 노데고 동상 남파다 보지 마도 그니 냠자 베로라 추진다 이 말이 찾도 다 냠자들 다용도가라 딱딱이 냠자로라 점버 머두고 근데 데메 텐동 하나마다 메인도 다 냠자들 제도래야 장도가라 유다 유진나 하기 가스고다 추진 나와래 이거와 추진 나와 바지 추진 나와래 인도가 거기니 유문에 주변에서는 남겨때 홀로 건배 왕게 여기 냠자라 달라 된 거기 라심에 방에비 디 슈아 디 니베기 통다 통그도 돼 덴바 쪽에서 확인이 여봐서 통그도 되는데 매아 삼성들가라 다 내는 주마도 무세래 아니 주마 말아서 무비타나 디비너지 차라지 통과할 때 디비는 여간 나진지 여러 배는 이거 말와 무비 와다 무비 회자나 빼대버래 와다 나라라에 매베 이구만 때 약속 찍어 센터에 때 이구미 때 맞아 미남 때 잡고 와다 뜻 건가 뭐네 맞은 짐바 두부들 가야 돼 답시 와다 가지 되는지 와지 차도 보네 아니 집 라면 냠는 집에는 냄새도 용과 어떻게 시골에서 순거
지나 제와 무주 통매 상배 제와드나 대화 치중 그 주 탐지기 공부다진 듀얼라 뒤에 다진 요몽 님보소 전 치인 다진 레자시스티
나진잖아 아 제가 동호잖아 나진 라샤가 되고 때마다 된줄라잖아 되고 엔진 다음에로 동문이 너무 동문이
we didn't
가르치잖아. 대신 때는 상아버도 냐는 제가 어떻게 수치니. 간지 그냥 농구마다 붙이 딱 제니. 아니 제치점 주고 와 차로 보니 지지는 뭐니 다는 저는 나저 던지 지기 자생도 땡땡 차기를 성이 융전담 전문자여 대술로 송가도 기는 말에 가사 소속 그 공부하시다 기본 오미 공부하시다 공미 공부하시다 때문에 말아요. 그래서 그거는 학과지 때문에 개침버리지.
if you have a book, it's on page 98. We didn't finish those advices or precepts. He said he thought we finished, but we didn't finish that. We are actually starting that. So it's on page 98. Um, middle of the page says the precepts of mind training. The precepts of mind training. The precepts of mind training, this has two parts: the explanation of what appears in the text in verse, and of what appears in the text in maxims. Explanation of what appears in the text in verse. Every yoga should be performed as one. So this is the root text. Every yoga should be performed as one. In the brief commentary in this text, it says, ensure that yogas of all such activities as eating, dressing, and reciting are assimilated into the single practice of training the mind. Yoga, which is the word that mentioned here, Tibetan word is Neljor, and His Holiness explains as a Nel means something genuine, meaningful. Jorwa means engaging with kind of in a meaningful way. That is the meaning behind when we say yoga or Neljor in Tibetan. So whatever activities, eating, dressing, reciting, and here there's single practice of training the mind. It refers to the engaging with the understanding of, if we say straight forward, it's kind of understanding with engaging with the understanding of emptiness, or engaging with the understanding of truth grasping. We see a later part of this same text, that all phenomena, understanding that all phenomena as an illusion. Or the expression or understanding that when we look out, the reality and the appearance, these two becoming kind of exactly same, as if kind of adding a drop of water on another water. There's no differences. And usually in the understanding of emptiness, we talk about the differences between how things appears to us and how things exist in reality. So there's no kind of duality. Rather, when you understand it, both are actually the same. The things appear to us seems very kind of as we say they exist kind of independently, objectively, self-sufficiently, like watching a movie or televisions. When we see on the screen, they seem so real, so kind of out there independently. However, that is not the case, and all of this. What is important here is kind of destroy this very thick layer of self-grasping thought, or to generate this understanding of the true reality of how things exist, or we can say understanding of emptiness. So in every practice, understanding Buddhism right from the beginning of Four Noble Truth until the highest level of Vajrayana, practicing even just kind of a very general sense or rough understanding of emptiness can make great differences.
봄견한다 되게 니지즘이 다 이차도 또 쓰면은 귤체 또체 니버체죠 간 냠는디 보다 답식이 진주들라 다들 사람이가 그로 만다니 인정하랑 그길라 또바니 지자도 차야요 말 지금 수차대 지네 발행하고 그래 다이 진단데 공단을 붙이기 하게 퍼진 채는 빼 미시가 사고 숨어야 돼 배된 디 숨어야 부지be 마 냥은 이제 말았다 라는 부지지라면 아마지가 부지지로만 매지 대종의 냥은 제도 제사도 가라 냥은 또그 제사도 가라 카나가 제디기 도안용들라 로드 제자에게 로드 뭔지 그려야돼 이 슈암 냥은 니밤 슈티 요아레스 벤드 들어와 요아레스 what 이 냥은 이즈 냥은 이즈미제레스 자야 제디 어떤 뜻은 뭐 어떻게 나지 쟤는 아그 답이 나라시 딱 거기 새롭게 차이 나라 답이 차나이 나라 이니 가요 와지게 짐바체 봐라 이니 살 때문에 이니 지 누이 니바도 많이 한번 보내 배발치 배발 가지나 대 답시 짐바치 이 차고 있어 어떻게 내가 아도 뭐 냠는 책은지나 이 시고 뺏게 친 거.
For the beginners, of course, it's there's no way that we can engage in the practice with the understanding of emptiness. So understanding of emptiness is at this level kind of beyond our scope, beyond our ability. But however, we talk about practice with a thought that is accompanied by, or in Tibetan we use word sin, which means a thought which is kind of intertwined, or the thought which is with some understanding of emptiness. So you can engage in the creation of positive activities with some understanding, with some sense of emptiness. So you don't need to have complete understanding of emptiness. Of course, that is not it is not capable at this moment. But this understanding is sense is very important. And then with that sense, when engaged in creating a positive activities, or sense here, we can say that all phenomena are a lack of intrinsic nature and like illusion. And that thought, and with that thought, and then not kind of disappearing that sense in your mind, and then engage in creating a positive activities of whatever that you are engaging, it could become positive activities that you created becomes much more stronger, much more meaningful. And same applies with when we talk about method and wisdom. Here we are talking about wisdom part, but same when we talk about accompanied by a method. So if you are engaging in any positive activities, such as maybe just reciting, meditation, prostration, if you want that to be under the power or influence or intertwined with compassion, then it is important to first kind of sort of generate a thought of compassion very strongly at the beginning of your practice, and then keep that compassion kind of underneath your manifested whatever practice that you are doing, and that kind of practice becomes a practice accompanied by method, here compassion, or practice accompanied by wisdom, emptiness. And so that's what we mean by we talk about usually practice accompanied or intertwined by method and wisdom. And for ordinary people, as we always say, is that we cannot manifest two thought at the same time. So therefore, engaging in some practice and at the same time, manifesting thought or this wisdom or method at the same moment, it cannot happen for ordinary people. So therefore, we need to have kind of one thought actively at the level of manifested at the surface level, and another thought underneath it, but both are functioning at the same time. And for that, we mentioned, example that was given by Kongdan Rinpoche. He gave this example of a mother who is having a meal with with the thought of mourning for her only son, child who passed away. So that mother, having only one child, and that child passed away, and when she was having a meal, at the surface level, she is tasting the food and she is eating the food, but underneath her thought, there's a very strong feeling, sensation, or sadness of her child passed away. So that is how we apply in the practice. At the surface level, whatever practice that you do, but underneath that surface or that thought, there's this thought functioning. Either that could be your wisdom, the understanding of emptiness, or a thought of compassion, strongly kind of actively kind of working. So that's what we mean by a combination of method and wisdom, whatever practice that you do. So this is a critical point, and it is also kind of important to know, for us, whatever activities, practice that we do, it's always kind of, as mentioned before, makes a great sense to kind of practice combined or intertwined, either with method or wisdom.
Onlengi pemba tato tangi sengi tun parmala nyalwechi lunga ki choba pemba ji duna najur ki lito tejingi chetanjal dewe shingi jisu doni tun jung la nyamdu ga mo to chao pemba jindu majuna tajur chuzi zenshin chue zammo tan jala tenne de cheba malasu 신체 때는 니자오 냠도 셈버자오 어디 이 햄바생데 시우지 개청부도 와 말아서 길린 추전기야면은 상인 데미지 랑고즈는 햄바 흉충모 다 년들이 햄바 흉충모 있다나 인체기도 어떤 때는 이제 류의 니바생인데 시부지 처음에 차려 니바처럼 시부지를 땅뭐 햄바야 아버지 땅은 진짜 레저데 햄베tom니 예 귀다고 차고 어떤 영혼 중성 상황인데 시부지 개첨으로 와 아니 무아시다 모노미라 개버려 개버면 땐 나와냐 몰라 인지미지 니고 말해 코 뭐지 랑 제니 내가 소장라 소장 양이 네 이루고 셈진 양이 되니 뭐좀 숨 소소도 와 어떤 때니 가냐는 거지 내가 제니 제지를 때니 내가 제니 에니티 인지 기에 니도 소장 거는 뭐 지크 가게 비심제는 많이 받을. 그런게 진짜 자외라면 그 수주를 뭐나 숨발 뭐나 좀 숨을 또 쓰시기도 와. 뭐나 타요만. 다 뭐나 지 가서래. 이 인지민지 되고 와 말이야. 제제고 말. 아니 장주스를 먹어는 타요만. 셜마리 동번은 파슴진도 통하셔다. 셜마리 파슴 신은 귤도야 돼요 말대. 이 뭐는 때가 있나? 그 소남 살고 와. 인지민지 제고 와 말. 어떤 도시지네. 장주스 왜 뭐는 타요 말. 뭐는 타요. 뭐는 인지민지 되지고 와. 뭐도 뭐는 제발 때 제도 와. 대지.
Uh, the second point here, there are two activities at the beginning and end, and these two activities, in a simple way, refers to at the beginning is motivation or a good intention, and at the end it's the dedication. That's what it means here. It reads, just as explained above concerning the power of intention, you should set a strong resolve to eliminate unwholesome activities and acquire their antidotes. You should do this when you wake every morning throughout your life. When you go to sleep at night, if you find that the behavior of your body and speech has been in accord with your resolve, you can rejoice at thinking that your having found life as a free and fortunate human being, met with the teaching of the great vehicle, and come under the care of spiritual masters has been worthwhile. But if you have not done as you had resolved, reflecting that you have worthlessly wasted your leisure and opportunities, and that your meeting with the profound teaching has been without purpose, determine not to do the same in future. So here, as we see, it talks about the power of intention or motivation. It makes a great difference in kind of, again, in creating a positive activities. And whether positive activities that you created is of a genuine or meaningful or productive. It depends a lot on how it started with your thought, with your intention or attitude. And therefore, it is always kind of whatever activities we do, as mentioned here, starting with a good intention. And it works as, in kind of regular kind of experience. If you want to wake up early in the morning, we go to bed kind of this strong thought that I need to get up early. When you have that thought and going to bed, somehow without needing of alarm clock, you can wake up yourself. And that is the kind of the differences that your thought that you have generated before going to bed is making a difference. So this, what we in literal Tibetan would be kind of throwing this thought, or intention, can make a big difference in creating a positive activities. So and then at the end, dedication is important, kind of looking back and how you spent your time, and if you did something positive, something meaningful, and then dedicating at the end of the day, appreciating, rejoicing. And dedication and prayer, these two words usually, there's differences between these two. When we say dedication in Tibetan kind of language context, ngowa, dedication means you create some positive activities. You have something to dedicate. You have to have something to dedicate. Otherwise, without doing anything, you can't do dedication. So that means when you dedicate, you have created some positive activities, whatever that might be. And then you have that entity, that substances of good action, good karma. And now you are dedicating, that action. So usually we find dedication to three great kind of purposes, or three great objectives. The first one is for the enlightenment, ultimate enlightenment, and the second is for the benefits of every sentient beings, for the sake of all other sentient beings, and then third one is for the long life of one's spiritual teacher. So these are the three primary kind of objective that we dedicate. On the other hand, when we say prayer, you don't need any create any kind of you don't need any substances. You don't need to create any positive karma. You just make a wishes, and that is a prayer. So could be anything. There's no limit. So therefore, there's a differences between when we say dedication and prayer in Tibetan language context.
불러 서봤대서 매시다 마선 마셔줘 진대디요. 힌지 채나 마셔줘 진대요. 뭐 맞으나 배워. 추정이 주제 니만 인간제나 내가 와 콘도케 지지자다. 여와서 깜깜 좀 두고. 뭐 저지요.
And the reason why, the needed or importance of dedication is us ordinary people, we are like so ready sort of to kind of explode, to make a fire if there's a small spark. We are very kind of vulnerable. So positive activities that we created, we need to make sure that later when we become angry or when we have hatred, whatever negative thought, that will those will destroy our positive activities that we created before. So making a dedication is considered as kind of sort of locking up, and later when you have an influence of anger or hatred, positive activity that you've done before, with the dedication it will remain kind of sort of undestroyed.
아니 군농 장주기 셈기 짐바지 양 인식이 짐바 근데 중에나 랑게 가와 제데 선음기 처러도 그래 다이 공도 주죠 동이 또베 타와 중나가 라베 때 마주나 푸드 중아래 때 마주나야 제치점기 고아 차니 고에 권이 아니 예 동이 라 제치점기 고에 권이 그래서 칼제 바데 이식이 처러도 그래 이인도가 뭐네 저 라포시도에는 팬더래 이 팬바데 휴지 팬더 좀 버리 솔루션은 말해
So take a break after this. Usually we talk about accumulations of two merits. The first one is sonam, which is again we just call it merit or fortune, and the second one is wisdom, accumulations of wisdom, and this is actually a kind of merit, wisdom merit. So the first one, accumulation, from the two types of positive merits. The first one is the merit. Positive activities that we create, if we create under the influence or under the power or as we mentioned before, kind of manifested and the kind of lower layer with altruism, with compassion, then positive activities that we create becomes from the two accumulations, it becomes the first accumulations of merit. But positive activities that we created with the of course, if you create with the understanding of emptiness, then it becomes a great the second type of merit, which is wisdom merit. Or even if you create with some sense of what we call generic understanding, which means understanding derived from hearing the word of emptiness, when you do that, then again that becomes from the two accumulations, it becomes the merit of the wisdom, the second merit. So these two merit, first one positive merit, eventually leads to the attainment of from the two bodies of Buddha, form body of Buddha, and the second, the wisdom merit, eventually leads to the attaining of Dharmakaya, a truth body. So that's so it's good to know kind of the connection between the cause and then finally at the resultant stage. We'll take a break here.